Ambassador Robert F. Godec, at Bob Godec, if you want to follow the ambassador.
Yes, please follow me on Twitter,
Bob
Godec.
We want to get him as many followers as possible. Thank you so much. It was such a great MindSpeak session, great presentation. What were your impressions of today's session?
Ali Khan, first, let me just say thank you for giving me the opportunity to meet with this extraordinary group of young people, leaders, students, I mean, so many incredible and impressive Kenyans. I thought it was a wonderful opportunity, first of all, for me to talk a little bit about U.S.-Kenya relations, about the new story that's emerging in Kenya and in Africa generally, the reality of innovation, of strong sense of just progress that is here. It was an opportunity to talk a little bit about the Global Entrepreneurship Summit as well. It's coming up here at the end of July, which will be an extraordinary opportunity, I know, for certainly Kenya's entrepreneurs, but from entrepreneurs across sub-Saharan Africa, around the world, to come here to engage with business leaders, to meet with venture capitalists, and to do some very important things that I think will help build the future, create jobs, increase prosperity in Kenya and around Africa and the world. And of course to talk about the upcoming extraordinary, historic visit of President Obama.
I love the way you compared it to President Kennedy's visit to Ireland, because I completely agree with you. For Kenyans, it's as important, I think, that the president visits. I think there was some disappointment, didn't come in his first term, but I tell them, he had his own challenges in the US at that time. It wasn't that easy.
He's got a lot of responsibilities in the United States,
yes,
and around the globe.
Absolutely. So we're really excited about it. People keep asking, what does the average man in Kakamega or Garissa get out of this visit? How would you respond to that kind of question? What does it mean?
I think that, broadly speaking, President Obama's visit is going to be an opportunity to reaffirm our extraordinarily strong relationship. And there are so many different dimensions to American-Kenyan relations. It is really an intricate web of social, political, economic, commercial relations. And I think that President Obama coming here will allow us to reinforce this very dense and very important and enduring relationship that we've got. Very specifically and concretely, though, President Obama wanted the Global Entrepreneurship Summit to come here to Kenya. And I think out of that Global Entrepreneurship Summit, there will be new business deals, there will be new opportunities, there will be new things that could very well impact average Kenyans in important ways. So I do think the visit will be historic from kind of a people-to-people, yes, government-to-government connection from that sense and at that level, but it will be very important too at a concrete and measurable level as well.
I think it's great that the US is promoting the Global Entrepreneurship Summit, because as you see, we've got a bunch of entrepreneurs that just need sort of revving up, and I'm sure they've got a bunch of ideas that can be commercialized and monetized.
I think that's absolutely correct, and wherever I've gone around Kenya, I've had an opportunity to meet with young Kenyans, older Kenyans, business leaders, entrepreneurs, and it has never ceased to impress me, the energy, the creativity, the dynamism that's here. And whether it be something like, with Kennedy Odede and Shining Hope for Communities in Kibera, or at the iHub, or at Bangladesh, the informal settlement in Mombasa, where I saw some young people creating businesses, there is extraordinary hope, potential, and possibility, yes, here in Kenya. And I think that finding ways to help them and support them, whether it be through mentorships or venture capital or various other things, that's what's critically important.
Ambassador Godec, you said at one point when we were walking in, we're all in our relationship with Kenya. And from us, there were a couple of questions saying, why are you all in? What is it? What is in it for the US? I mean, from that calculation, putting that lens on, what is it? Is Kenya a pivot state in this region? What is it that has made the US make this huge investment in Kenya?
I think there are a couple of different things that are important here. One is, the United States and the American people have obviously a lot of connection to Kenya. I mean, a lot of Americans trace their own heritage to Kenya, starting, of course, with President Obama, and I think that that's important. I think that we have cultural relations. I think we have, strong commercial relations, economic relations. Kenya is really kind of a critical country in this region. It really, in many respects, is the hub of East Africa. And I think that further progress here will be a benefit certainly to people in Kenya, but the entire region, and ultimately to the United States as well. We are committed to helping this country make further progress. And, I'm firmly convinced it will do so.
Ambassador, I was doing a lot of research this morning about you, and what a wonderful career you've had. And I was describing it in the session. Pre-Arab Spring Tunisia, counter-terrorism, Iraq, it's Burma, very frontier economies. And you would describe yourself as, I don't need to call a press conference every day. Asking about your personal diplomatic style. Clearly it's been in contradistinction to a number of your predecessors, and I'm not saying that in a bad way, it's a different... Was that a deliberate approach? Is that just your personality? But it's proven enormously effective from what I can see, culminating in the president's visit, cementing relations.
Mm-hmm. My firm belief is that countries around the world, ultimately in the first instance, are responsible for themselves, for their own progress. And here in Kenya, Kenyans should lead. And I think that when you look at your extraordinary 2010 Constitution, which really is a model document in many respects, you can see the commitments of Kenyans to making progress and their vision for the future that they want to build. My view of the United States and my role here is to support and to help and assist in that. My job is not to constantly lecture Kenya. My job is not to be out in front on every issue all the time. My job is to find ways, whether it be through a visit by President Obama or through a specific program on education or healthcare or agriculture, to find ways to support the Kenyan people and the Kenyan government in achieving the objectives that they have set for themselves. And I do that in a variety of ways. When it's appropriate, I make public statements about American values or about our relations. When it's appropriate, I'll do that privately in diplomatic circles or in meetings with business people or academics or whoever I'm engaging with. But I don't see it as the role of a diplomat today in Kenya to constantly be out front.
No, and I think it's really paid off. You can see how that's done. You were asked many challenging questions in that, but what I wanted to just touch on is your biggest intervention in Kenya is in ARVs, is it? That's in PEPFAR.
The biggest intervention is in healthcare. So, the biggest part of that is in HIV/AIDS.
Yes, and what you said, 700,000 people are receiving treatment.
More than 750,000 people now are on antiretroviral drugs.
That's an extraordinary commitment anywhere in the world, right?
Yes.
It's pretty phenomenal. If I might just wrap up with a couple of final questions. I know your passions are running. You told me, Ali Khan, it's my meditation, yes. And I've seen you concentrating because I've been driving next to you. And also elephants, your love of elephants. What are your passions outside, this sort of high-end diplomacy that you're playing most times?
Well, there's no doubt that I love running, and I've run for many, many years, and I've had some extraordinary opportunities to run here in Kenya. Certainly the First Lady's half marathon that took place a few months ago, various other races, and opportunities to run in some beautiful places here in Nairobi and other spots around the country. So I'm very grateful for the fact that I can run and to be able to run here in Kenya is very special with the Kenyans.
Yes.
Who
Have you run with any of our top runners yet?
I have talked about running with Tegla Larupe and various
Yes.
other Kenyans. I did run with Douglas Wakahuri.
Oh, wow,
at
the
one
marathon
point,
winner.
the marathon winner. He was an extraordinary and is an extraordinary runner. So. And so I've had some opportunities to do some interesting runs, but it is for me a form of meditation, and it's
Yes.
very special, and I'm grateful that I am able to do it. Wildlife is a personal passion of mine, protection of wildlife.
You've been out to our game parks.
I've been to the game parks, I've been to the Mara, I've been to Amboseli, I've been to Samburu, I've been to many other places, and I've been making a real effort to both engage personally on this issue,
Yes.
whether it be through things like Tweet for Elephants.
Yes, which was phenomenal, and I attended it. And thank you for convening such a wonderful group of people.
It was a great event. I've been very engaged with civil society here, working whether it be Ian Douglas Hamilton or
Yes.
or the KWS leadership or many others across Kenya, and so it's been an extraordinary opportunity, and I continue to look for new ways that we can support conservation and protection of wildlife. Beyond that, there's certainly a lot of other things that I love. I do love having an opportunity to meet with the Kenyan people.
Well, I've seen that. You've got tremendous rapport.
Engage with them, just talk with them,
Yes.
whether they're doing their business or in day-to-day life or even in their homes when I'm invited. So there's a lot of opportunity. I find that very, very, very special. There's certainly a lot of other things that I love.
Yes.
Whether it be books or
You read a lot.
I read a lot.
Yes.
But there's certainly a lot of other
history,
things.
Or what do you like reading?
Well, a lot of different things. I like science fiction, but I read a lot of science books too.
I saw a lot
so,
of cosmology actually
yeah,
tweets from
yeah,
you, and
yes.
it's very interesting.
So we could spend some time talking about things
Yes.
in cosmology and
Yes.
in science and physics, but it's another wonderful
There's a
refuge for
super
me.
book called by Sir Martin Rees, just 6 equations, and
Yes.
the whole complexity of the world reduced to these 6 particular. Ambassador Godec, thank you so much for being such a wonderful guest, for engaging with the audience, and for coming today. I'm thoroughly grateful. I wish you every success for the President's visit. I'm sure as a diplomat that's a big moment for you.
Yes.
And
The biggest.
The biggest. And of course, a lot of positivity for the Entrepreneurship Summit. And we really appreciate that being held here in Nairobi. Yeah, I meet so many young people with so many ideas, and I'm so glad that the American government saw fit to bring it here. So thank you so much.
Well, Icon, thank you. It's been an extraordinary morning,
No,
a very special morning, and
was for us
thank
too.
you for bringing everybody together.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.